So I'm gonna wait for 2 minutes. Oh, let me do my poll. Today I want to talk about vanishing twin syndrome only because how do I do this again? I don't remember how to add the poll. Hold on, let's figure it out. Right here. Alright, so the poll is there. So this topic is inspired by a comment that I got on a video that I posted recently. I didn't get the comment here on YouTube, I got it on TikTok, but it's the same video. So I said, let's talk about vanishing twin syndrome today. I don't have my water. It's far away. Let me go get it. Hi, Jayon. Have you ever heard of vanishing twin syndrome? I've never heard of it prior to being diagnosed with it. I don't know if the technical term is diagnosed with it, but I had never heard of it before 2024. And that was my fifth pregnancy. So vanishing twin, okay, you only know of what I talked about. So vanishing twin syndrome is actually a type of pregnancy loss, which is interesting. The whole concept is interesting to me because it's just something that I had never thought about. You don't really think about pregnancy loss, to be honest, before experiencing it or having somebody experience it. It's not something that you think about, really. Yes, you know that people go through it and you might hear stories here and there, but what's interesting about this is, well, speaking of my own vanishing twin, what's interesting about it is that it does not affect the other baby in utero. And mine, once she told me about it, I started reading up about it. Hello, Amar. Welcome to the live. So once she told me about it, I of course started to read up about it because I wanted to know more, and I realized that some women, it's experienced in different ways. Some women actually have I guess a more emotional response to hearing about vanishing twin than I had, and I would say there was sadness around it, finding out that. So initially there was shock finding out about a twin. Hi Ranjan. So they were shocked about finding out that, I was pregnant with twins first. But then, you know, the thought kind of just, like, I guess I just kind of got comfortable with it, or okay enough. And then 2 weeks later, when we did the follow-up ultrasound, baby B was gone, and I was sad about it. I was sad about it. But there are some women that it really affects them negatively, emotionally, and mentally. And I guess it depends on how far along they are in the pregnancy when the the one the the one that disappears, when that one disappears. And it's my understanding that for some women they have the empty sac for most of their pregnancy. And I've read where one lady said she had it her whole pregnancy. So for me, I didn't see the empty sac. I don't know if it was there, because to be honest, when she's showing me stuff on the ultrasound on the machine screen, half the time I'm not sure what I'm looking at. There are some things, of course, you'll be able, as the baby gets older, you can make out some things. But even to tell me the sex of the baby, she told me the sex of the baby real early, but I couldn't see what she was seeing. But of course, she has more experience with it, so she would know that that's what she's seeing. And I was like, nope, I don't know what you're showing me. But she told me early up, and I didn't actually see it myself until probably around when I was 7 months pregnant, to see, oh, it's a girl. Yes, I can clearly see that it's a girl. So some women actually have that sac. So they have both babies, and this one disappears, and they just have that empty sac in their uterus up to a particular point in pregnancy. Usually stays up to a particular point, based on what I read. And then there was this instance with this lady. She had said hers stayed up to the end of her pregnancy. And I can understand why that has a big emotional and mental impact on you, especially if you have not experienced pregnancy loss before, or any type of pregnancy complication. Because in my experience, yeah, it's crazy. My experience was, you know, you find out you pregnant, and you hear a heartbeat. That's the hard part. You hear the heartbeat, and then in 2 weeks there's nothing there. Like, it literally just vanished. But we heard a heartbeat. That's crazy. That is more than crazy. But to know that you can still, for some women, they can still see the fact that the fetus or the embryo was in, is even crazier. And I can see why that would have an impact on you. Like, it's one thing to hear a heartbeat, or it's one thing. And I think one of the reasons that this probably is not spoken about or known about as much is because a lot of times we don't do ultrasound so early up in the pregnancy. Yeah, man, it's really heavy on the emotions. And my doctor loves ultrasounds. She used a transvaginal one, so that was between 7 and 8 weeks when she initially found the two heartbeats. And as I say, I heard the two heartbeats. I have a video here on YouTube where the audio, I had my 3-year-old with me, so the audio was, I don't have the actual audio, but there's a video clip in the video, in my first trimester update video. You can clearly see the two fetuses. I don't know what the plural of that word is, but as I say, I could not distinguish the sacs to see where one was or where the other one was. To me, it just looked like one space, and they were both in there. So yeah. So I think that this probably happens quite often, but many women don't know because typically don't get an ultrasound done so early. Some women don't even know that they're pregnant that early, or they know but they don't end up going to the doctor that early. And I hear that some places recommend that women go to the doctor when they're 12 weeks. I'm like, what? Like, I go to the doctor as soon as I get a positive pregnancy test. I didn't know there was like some wait time. I understand that the risk of miscarriage is high in the first 10 weeks, but I don't see why that would mean that you don't need prenatal care. Still go to the doctor. And what I've learned is that a lot of times when women have miscarriages, in those first 10 weeks, it's because there's something wrong with the fetus. And learning that and learning all of the things that could be wrong with them, and some people don't like this, but for me, this gave me comfort. So if it don't give you comfort or it doesn't give your loved one comfort, that's fine. But for me, it gave me comfort, and I'm speaking on me and my experience and my thought process and my mental process and my emotional reaction. So to find out that a lot of times those miscarriages are a result of something going wrong in the development. A lot of times it's chromosomal abnormalities that are death sentence if the baby's past 10 weeks anyway. So after finding finding that out myself, by the way, there's somebody cutting grass, so you might be hearing that noise. That's why I closed the window. They've been cutting grass all morning down the street, and now this person right here. So that's what that noise is if you're hearing it. So yeah, lost my train of thoughts. Great. What was I saying? Yes, so I found comfort in knowing that the body kind of took care of something that would have been stressful. The pregnancy would have been stressful if the baby made it to term. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, and you see people talking about pregnancy loss and people talking about having challenges getting pregnant or having challenges staying pregnant. And when it's not close to home, this man will make me be great. Let me close another window. Yeah, so that hit home for me. Like, yes, it's loss, but personally, I'd rather lose a baby less than 10 weeks than to bring them into the world and it's just pain and suffering and just trying to make them comfortable until they leave. So it's never something that, you know, it's hard to say you're grateful for, to know that something may have been wrong. And I guess that's why nowadays they have all this mandatory testing that you have to do by a certain time in pregnancy, so they can tell you, um, you know, and get the information over to you early before you start forming that bond with this elusive one that's inside you. Because, like I said, I heard the heartbeat, and that was pretty early. Most people don't hear a heartbeat that early, but my doctor loves ultrasounds, and I love her for that. So I did one at every visit basically. So I know it's a sad situation, but I realized that there's not a lot of, even when I was doing my research, there wasn't a lot of, yes, there's information on the internet, but you don't have a lot of people sharing their story. You know, like when you search for other things, you'll find people sharing their stories on different boards or on blogs or in videos and etc. etc. I didn't find a lot of literature or just other people sharing about their vanishing twin loss. What is this? So I said that one person asked on the, I should have taken, well, you can't see no anyway. I was like, I should have taken a screenshot, but I can't share it because I'm using the phone. I'm not using any fancy streaming um, service that would allow me to show you the screenshot. But yeah, so hi Vicas, I'm sorry if I pronounced that the wrong way. I am from Jamaica. I'm looking at the poll to see if anybody has ever experienced it. So far, there's just 5 votes and nobody has experienced it. But more people have heard of it than not. Out of 5 votes. Not a lot of votes, but still. I can't vote on my own poll. No, I cannot. I am also my doctor I'm also doing some work in the background. So what happens to the vanishing twin? What happens to the twin when it disappears? So apparently it just gets reabsorbed. In my case, that's what happened because it was so early. I don't know how it's, I don't know what happens if it happens at a later stage. I know that when I was reading, there was this other thing that's, it's not called a vanishing twin, but there's this thing where one of the twins, I don't remember what it was that caused it, where one of the twins gets more blood flow and more, yeah, I think it was just more blood flow, and then they end up being larger than the other one, and it's almost like the other one can't develop, and they have to manually do something in extreme cases. So doctors have to intervene in the pregnancy to ensure that the other one, the smaller one, survives the pregnancy. And see, I'd rather the one that I experienced, the vanishing twin, early, than to be pregnant and knowing that one of your twins, one of your babies is struggling while one is thriving off of the one that's struggling. That's crazy. So if it happens later down in the pregnancy, they say that the twin that didn't make it becomes flattened, and they're in that I think they likened it to papyrus, which is paper from back in the day that they used to use. I don't know, it's just it's scary, it's crazy, and it's scary, and it's so weird. Like, these things can happen inside your body. It's it's hard to wrap your mind around it. And I'm like, women have experienced this and have had to carry this weight. I mean, it's from what I read, it seemed like it was sealed off, so it's not harming the baby or the mother, but it's there until she gives birth. To know that, well, I guess if a doctor knew that, they just wouldn't bother to give you a lot of ultrasounds. That would be the humane thing to do. Or I don't even know if an ultrasound would pick up something like that. I don't know if an ultrasound would pick up something like that. But yeah, it happens, and it's what my doctor said was had an 80% chance that it would, that the both of them would progress. So 20%, 20% is a lot, I think, if it happens. 20% of pregnancies, and just to know that I had not known about it until having experienced it myself, I feel like 20% is a lot. I should have known about it, read about it, heard about it somewhere, somehow, but I never had before experiencing it myself. And my heart goes out to the moms that experience it and experience it later down in their pregnancy. And to know that, and the ones that have to see the empty sac, like, especially if they have other complications that would require them to have ultrasounds regularly or regularly enough. Bye, Jan. Thanks for coming through the live. Double tap your screen before you go so you like the live. Yeah, so I I can't wrap my head around that. So I can understand, like, because even me, I think about it, and I say, how do I tell this baby that, it wasn't you alone, there was another one. I think about that, like, how do you break it to them? And I think outside of saying it in the video, and I think like close family members know, and I don't even know if they, and like you say things to your family members, and you're not even sure if they grasp what you said. So I don't even know, and I don't even know if they grasp what I was saying when I said there were two and now there's one. I thought this gentleman would have finished out here by now, but he's still right here, cutting. I don't know, it seems loud to me. I'm still at 5 votes on my poll. I want to know if you guys have heard about Vanishing Twin Syndrome before, if there's anybody that's experienced it. I'm getting a call. Getting a call. Getting a call. I'll be right back. How do I do this? Yeah, guys, I took the call. So we're talking about Vanishing Twin Syndrome, and I'm working as well. Baby girl is sleeping. Somebody across the road is mowing their lawn. Yes, I'm distracted. Why? Like, I can't get back the chat. I don't know how to. Well, I can see the chat, but I want to minimize the poll. Oh, there we go. So everything was like up in the screen. So, yeah, back to my little chit chats. This guy still, like, today is, I'm not getting any, oh, no, he stopped. Is he done? I can't see him. It'd be nice if he was done in the front. No, he's not done. He's starting up again. Yeah, so, with Vanishing Twin Syndrome, there's nothing that you can do to treat or prevent it. It's just something that happens. So that's kind of another downside to it, another reason it would impact somebody emotionally, because there's nothing that you can do about it. You just, and you're not gonna know, you're just gonna go and you're gonna have twins, and then you're just gonna hear, oh, one of them disappeared, or one of them, what I've seen in the literature that I've read, they refer to it as fetal demise. So one has, I don't remember the exact verbiage of the statement that they make, but they say they use fetal demise instead of saying the baby died, which I guess sometimes when you're talking about these things, you don't want to use the word died. So, yeah. And it's not just for me, it was twins, but it doesn't happen only in twin pregnancies, so it can happen for any kind of multiple pregnancy with multiples, but I guess they probably um termed it vanishing twin syndrome because maybe that's how they first encountered it. But it happens with other pregnancies that there are multiples, triplets, and upward. In terms of symptoms, I wasn't having any. I don't think I was having any. I was having cramps from earlier, before I knew I was pregnant. And I don't, so I don't think they had anything to, I don't think there was any correlation between the cramps that I was having and that that um that one disappearing, vanishing. So I don't know if I had any symptoms. They say people can have symptoms, and cramping is one of them. And you know, cramping is so common in early pregnancy. Like you wouldn't think twice if you're cramping. You wouldn't think twice, unless the cramping is, well, probably if it's your first pregnancy and you've never experienced it before, and this is before going in to see an OBGYN, um, you might have concern for the cramping. But I think anybody that's been pregnant before has experienced it before probably wouldn't be very concerned about cramping unless it was very like major cramping. But mine was just like, oh, it was like that feeling like, I don't even think I would call it cramping. It's just like that feeling like, oh, my period is gonna come. That kind of feeling. But as I said, that was happening from before I even knew I was pregnant. So I wouldn't say there was any of that for me personally. I'm looking for something. I'm looking for a message. I need to respond to something. Didn't I talk to this lady? Yeah, this was yesterday. It can't be that far down. I am distracted today. Very distracted. Very distracted. Oh, see it here. Hi, if you're, I still only have 5 votes. Guys, we're talking about Vanishing Twin Syndrome. If you've ever heard of it or not, I have a poll running. If you could go vote on my poll, I'd appreciate it. I want to see, I did not know about it before, and I want to see how many people know about it. Um, or if anybody else has experienced it. I don't know anybody that's, well, I've never heard of it before having experiencing it myself. And when I was doing my little read up, my little research on it, I didn't find many people that had experienced it. So I'm just asking out of curiosity. And like the live, you can like it by just double tapping the screen. You don't have to go and find the like button, just double tap the screen. Nobody not voting on my poll. Nobody's voting on my poll, or the people that are here are the same people that have already voted. I'm sad. No, I'm not. Uh, yeah, I'd love to see. Funny enough, I haven't thought about this for months now. It's just that comment that kind of piqued my brain, and I was like, just remembering that looking, when I was looking for stuff on it, I wasn't finding a lot of people who had experienced it, and especially not recent. The stories that I found were long time, but I was just, it's not, I was saying it's not, it's actually not, it's not anything that's relatively new. It's been happening since forever, and the health people know this, because I just read something that said before ultrasound technology, they would know about a vanishing twin or a vanishing multiple based on tissue found in the placenta. So before ultrasound technology, when was that? How long ago was that? So that is interesting. So they say when it happens in the first trimester, it's it's there's no complications for the mother, or it won't affect the rest of the pregnancy. But if it happens like in the second or the third trimester, then there might be things that can happen, and they at that point then the pregnancy is considered high risk. And of course, when it's a high risk pregnancy, there's a lot more monitoring going on. So thankfully for me, it happened in my first trimester. I would not want to experience it happening in the second or the third, especially because as I said, my doctor loves to do the ultrasounds, and I'm here for it. I'm one of those people that are here for it. So every visit, I'm trying to remember. I think probably like later on in the pregnancy, there's probably one time that we didn't do an ultrasound. She just measured my, and she used the ultrasound even for that measurement, the fundal height they call it. She did the measurement on the ultrasound machine. I'm trying to remember what happened that time when we didn't do the ultrasound. But yeah, at every visit we did an ultrasound. Fetal tissue in the placenta. What did they use to check for that? That's interesting. So no, I'm my little the little nerd part of my brain wants to just go and read up all about this. Just continue reading, and for no reason, because not like I'm never gonna experience this again or anything, but I don't know, the body fascinates me and the way the body works, and I've always been fascinated by these things. So sometimes I go off on a tangent and I'm like, I want to read everything that there is to read, I want to watch everything that there is to watch, and I just want to know how other people's experience with it, and I just think it's crazy. I've said that like 50 times in this live already. It is crazy. But yeah, what time is it? I'm about to. I didn't come on at 12 o'clock exactly because I was trying to edit. I had edited a short and I was like almost there to upload it, and I don't know what happened and it disappeared off the screen. And so I wanted to just get it done before, because once I come off live, it's gonna be almost, I'm gonna get ready to go in the car to go get little mister from school. So I wanted to get that out of the way so that when I'm done the live, I could just get to it. And since little miss is sleeping, in case she woke up, I wanted to just have that out of the way. And I don't remember why I'm saying any of this. Pregnancy brain is a thing. After the pregnancy, what is this? Postpartum brain? Postpartum brain. The fourth trimester is real. And talking about that, tomorrow I'm gonna talk about the fourth trimester because somebody commented about that too. Um, that's the video that I was working on here. Somebody commented the on a video a short that I posted about the fourth trimester, and they were like, the fourth trimester, what's that? So it's that Like try means three, yes, try means three. But if you've been pregnant or you are pregnant, if you consume any kind of content in the pregnancy sphere, pregnancy and postpartum sphere, you would have come across the term fourth trimester. So I think that's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. Hi, Husnedin. Hello. Sorry if I massacred your name. I'm not very good with. Sometimes these names are interesting. They're hard to figure out how the pronunciation goes. So, hello. Thank you for joining my live. Have you ever heard of Vanishing Twin Syndrome? I have a poll going. I'd appreciate it if you'd go and vote in the poll. This is just it's just curiosity for me to want to know how many people know about this thing, or how many people have experienced it for themselves. And don't forget to like the live as well. If you stay, you might be already gone. Yep, so I am going to close out now. I'm waiting to see if anybody that's watching is going to vote on the poll. If I'm gonna get another vote. I'm assuming that the people that are watching have already voted, because it's the same amount of people that were watching when I said it the last time. It's the same amount that's watching now. So I guess everybody that's in here has already voted on my poll, but I'm still hoping that somebody else will vote before I finish out. No. Alright. Because I want to end the poll and put it on the screen. I didn't do that yesterday. I had a poll yesterday and I didn't end the poll. And then I was watching a friend of mine in her live and she ended. I was like, oh, I didn't end my poll before I ended the live. I'm trying to remember if I ended the live abruptly yesterday. I know I wasn't on for an hour, which is what I'm aiming for. I'm not gonna be on for an hour today either, because I started a little bit later than I wanted to. Yeah. So to sum it up, Vanishing Twin Syndrome is a type of pregnancy loss. It's a category of pregnancy loss, and it doesn't just occur in twin pregnancies. It can happen in any kind of multiple gestational pregnancy. Can you say gestational and pregnancy in the same sentence? And it can happen in the first, second, or third trimester. For me, it happened in the first trimester before 10 weeks. So if I hadn't had that very early ultrasound, I wouldn't even know that that was a thing, and I wouldn't know that there was another heartbeat. And I was able to hear the heartbeat. I heard both heartbeats at that stage of my pregnancy, between 7 and 8 weeks. I don't remember exactly how far along I was, but I know that I hadn't gotten to the 8-week mark as yet. And some women experience it later on and have symptoms and have different experiences. For me, there was a little bit of sadness, but I didn't get too low emotionally. I think I probably was just sad for that day. And then now when the person asked a question, I wanted to go back and watch the video with the heartbeats. And I can't find the original video, but I did have a clip of it in a video on YouTube. That is my first trimester video. I'll link it in the description after this goes live, so if you're watching on the replay, you can go and watch that video. I spoke about it then, and I shared a little clip from the day when I did the ultrasound that showed both of the fetuses. So you can go and check out that video if you'd like to just watch that particular part of it. Yep, so that is it for me, from me, not for me, from me today. I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll now since nobody else is voting. So 80% of, from 5 votes, 80% of voters have heard about Vanishing Twin Syndrome. I had somebody comment that they only heard about it from me talking about it, and then 20% said no, and there's nobody has experienced it, at least did not come into my life today. So that is it. There it is. There is the poll. It is complete, and that's a wrap for me today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we're talking about the fourth trimester, what that is, what it means, and what happens to women in the fourth trimester, and why is it called the fourth trimester? Because technically tri means 3, so there should only be 3 trimesters. But why are we talking about the fourth trimester? If you want to chat with me about that tomorrow, come on over at midday. I'll be going live. Until then, bye bye.